Welcome back to iResearch and wanting to learn more smart stuff with me. Today's video is going to be all about logograms and some spelling and some pronunciations. So with the last two videos, we learned numbers, and before that, we learned single consonant logograms, otherwise known as the alphabet. So this video we are going to get into the double consonants and even some triple consonants. Now, keep in mind that these logograms can be put together to spell other words. And the alphabet letters that we learned can mean other things besides just the sound that they stand for. So, remember how this owl symbol meant the sound of the letter that we know as M? Well, it can also just mean an owl too. So, there's a few ways to find out, and one is by using a little annotation like this guy. This is called a logogram indicator. A logogram is when the symbol means a whole word, like owl, and not just a sound like a letter in an alphabet. So take this sentence for example. This reads, mouth of Egypt. Now, notice how we have the mouth symbol here, and you'll see this little logogram indicator line to tell you to read it as mouth and not the R sound. Then we have the water symbol, which means of as well as N. And then they spelled out the word Kemet and even added a symbol at the end which means city or place. This additional symbol at the end is helpful to make the reader be sure that they read it correctly, since there are quite a few ways of reading something. So by adding in both the logogram indicator for the mouth and then sealing the sentence with an affirming logogram allows for no mistakes to be made when reading it. Now, while ancient Egyptians were living there, they didn't actually call Egypt Egypt. They called it Kemet. So that's why it's spelled out as KMT. Now, you'll also notice that the K isn't exactly the sloping hill that we learned about, right? That's because this symbol stands for KM, further validating the spelling of KMT. Okay, but first, let's start with some easy logograms first. All of these mean whole words. So this is a symbol for day. This can also mean daytime, sky, or daylight, depending on what the rest of the sentence is relating to. And it's spelled PT, which you should remember as the square stool and the taco. Now, P is pronounced P and T is pronounced T. Next is a symbol for night, nighttime, night sky, or sometimes even darkness. Notice the symbol for day is there, but there's a strange arrow or pendulum hanging from it. Sometimes it can also be drawn as this symbol too. Both symbols, either the pendulum or the lightning bolt, are still both spelled the same, GRH with a dot. Now, we assume the dot means the same as it does for most languages, which is to denote the guttural pronunciation of that letter. You can probably guess what this symbol means, and you're probably right. It means rain or dew. This circle with a little circle inside of it means time, day, or sun. And it's spelled as R apostrophe. And if you remember from our alphabet video, the apostrophe is a soft A. Now, we don't know if they said it as ra or if they rolled their R's like ra or anything, so basically it's up to you on that one on how to pronounce their R's. Now, daytime, as a reference to when, looks like this. You'd spell daytime as H with an underscore, RT, then HRW. If the sun symbol has these lines, it means to shine, which is spelled P, H with a dot, D with an underscore. Or it can mean to rise, which is spelled WBN. Now, this symbol is the moon, and it's spelled I-A-H with a dot. So this next symbol is used for place, city, location, and even Egypt itself, and sometimes Thebes. Now, this rounded rectangle means island, but if it has 3 dots under it, it becomes land or flatland, and that is spelled T-A. And this 3 means the hard A, remember? Now, this symbol is mountain or hills. Notice how it's still a rectangle, but with mountains now. And you'd spell this as an underscore DW. The underscore D is pronounced dej. So I haven't found out what W is pronounced as, but I assume it's weh. You have to remember that they didn't write out the vowel sounds between their consonants, so we assume that there was a universal placeholder, and they guess it to be a short sounding E, as in eh. Now, this next one I'm adding in because why not? It means sun rising over hills, which is very specific, so I doubt it was the most common phrase. Okay, so this one means desert, foreign, foreigner, or just unknown in general. This is specific as well, but you know what? I learned it, so I'm sharing it, you know? This means irrigated land or sectioned land. This symbol would mean irrigated tunnels. Here we have paved road, or pathway. Sometimes it can mean a canal waterway, but sometimes that was written as this symbol instead, and this symbol would be spelled as MR. Now, these symbols mean shrubs, either the rectangle or the semicircle. So this symbol means house, and if there's a line like this under it, it means house. If they put 3 lines like this under it though, it means plural, which would make this mean houses. Okay, so now I'm going to introduce you to some logograms, and they mainly are double consonants and some are triple consonants. So the first one is this symbol. This symbol means beautiful, 0. It also stands for 0, as we learned in our numbers video. And it is a heart and windpipe, and it is spelled NFR. Now, the next symbol, which is a lung and windpipe, can stand for union, unite, join, or sometimes it is in reference to 2 lands, meaning upper and lower, and it is spelled SMA. Next is the pintail duck, and it is spelled SA. It means son of. If it's SA-T, it means daughter of. Next we have the young goat or animal, and it is spelled IB. Also, the symbol for the heart is spelled IB as well. Next is the cat, and it is spelled MIU. Next we have the newborn animal, which is spelled IU. Then we have the standing lion, which is MAI. And we have the elephant, and that is ABU, or just AB. Next we have an animal called the oryx, and it is spelled GH with a dot S. Next is the rabbit or the hare, and it is spelled WN. And we have the ox, KA. And we have the hippopotamus, or the hippopotamus head, spelled AT. And we have a leopard head, and it is spelled PH with a dot TY. And next we have horns, which is spelled WP. This symbol here is a tongue, and it is spelled NS. This little thing is the hindquarters of a lion, very specific, and it is spelled PH with a dot. And next we have the leg of an ox, spelled WH with a dot M. And then this chandelier looking object is actually 3 skins tied together, and that is spelled MS. This next symbol is a backbone, ribs, and spinal cord. It means wounds or slaughter or carnage. And it is spelled S with a funny thing at the top that I'm unaware of the name right now. Apostrophe, which is A-T. This little guy is a buzzard, spelled T-Y-U. And next is a falcon, and it is spelled H with a dot R. This symbol is also sometimes used in reference to Horus, and is sometimes spelled H with a dot R-W. And this is a guinea fowl. It can mean just the bird in general. Sometimes it is used with ideas of petition and sometimes in place of the word for eternity, and it is spelled N-H, and it is pronounced ne. Okay, next is the northern bald ibis. This symbol can mean divine, or the like, and it is spelled A-H with a dot. This guy is called a glossy ibis. And it can mean to find or to discover, which I guess it kind of looks like he's looking for something. And it is spelled G-M. Next is the saddle-billed stork, and this is spelled B-A. And next is the three saddle-billed storks. It is spelled B-A-I-U. And sometimes it can mean divine souls. Okay, and this is a heron. It can mean to create, build, or generate, and it is spelled B-N-W. Next is the swallow, spelled W-R. And next is the pintail, flying. And this means to fly. And it is spelled P-A. And this little bird means young bird. And it is spelled T-J-A. Next is the head of crested bird. And this is P-Q. And this is a bee. It can sometimes stand for honey as well, and sometimes for Lower Egypt in general. And it is spelled B-J-T. Next is a hoe, and this can mean beloved, and it is spelled M-R. Next is a basket without a handle, and sometimes this can mean everything, every, lord, or master as well, and it is spelled N-B. Next is a Senate board, and it can mean enduring or permanence, and it is spelled M-N. Alright, and then we have the dung beetle, and this is spelled H with a slidey do, P-R, which we should remember from our alphabet video that would be K-H-P-R if you were going to pronounce it. Okay, so I'm going to end the video here, and then our next video we're going to get into the masculine and feminine versions of words and how they vary if you would be writing them out. We'll also learn how to spell out some numbers, and stay tuned for more smart stuff.